I really wanted to get into equities, but I had like there's a spot for a screen clerk. I didn't know what a screen clerk was, and I got introduced to the floor. And back then, it was open outcry, and it was like chaos, people yelling and screaming.
It's the buy and sell stocks?
Yeah, buy and sell commodities like oil, natural gas, heating oil back then. Natural gas wasn't even a contract back then. My thought, being like an arrogant 20-something, was like, wow, if these idiots can be rich, so can I. I went from serious super slacker, like least likely to succeed, to, turned it on to 100 and learned as much as I could.
What changed? What sparked that?
Necessity. Like when you have to like stay at home and, living in a little room with your mom, can't get laid, cramping your style, and realizing like this fucking sucks and the real world's hitting you. You have two choices. You can become a victim or fucking, turn it on.
And so how did you grow in your career to get to your first million? Was it as a commodities trader?
Yes. So I was a screen clerk and worked.
There's a Yankees background check, there's an MLB background check. Eventually, Yankees, 2 weeks before the announcement, they asked me to fly out to New York for me to interview. I said, guys, I'm very loud. I talk a lot about politics. I love America. I love capitalism. I'm just going to get louder. Just want you to know this. You can't call me and tell me to be quiet. I'm very loud. And they're like, as long as you don't tell us who to trade for, who to do this, and you realize he's the boss, we're going to be fine. I said, then that's it. And then we agreed. We shook hands. Great conversation. They took us to the Steinbrenner suite, the owner's suite. Incredible. Yankees, history, giving us private tour in the field, everything. And obviously now, it's a great experience because we'll go to Hamptons, get in the helicopter, go to a Yankees game, watch the game, come back. I mean, it's a dream. It's one of those things that, it's truly a dream.
Do you fly only private now?
I only fly private now.
What kind of plane do you have?
Oh, I don't have a plane yet. I haven't bought a plane because we're looking at buying a property that has a hangar where we can put the plane there, but I don't want to buy the plane. I want to buy the property first with a hangar, God willing, and then we put it there. Now, I have a guy I use, and he books me typically with these 3 planes that I use, and I charter all the time.
How much do you think you spend a year on planes?
Couple million.
Awesome. I told my wife, I was like, baby, 50. Like, that's all I want to fly is private. Like, we were in line security yesterday, it was 30 minutes. I was like, I'm going to work harder. Not harder just to work harder, but it's like, what a luxury of life to be able to afford that, be able to take other people, do those things. What was the best advice you ever received now that you're worth 9 figures?
In life, it's a different story than it is to be in 9 figures. 9 figures was truly reading Blue Ocean Strategy. I'm telling you, when I read Blue Ocean Strategy, it was powerful because it made me realize, because this one guy was saying...
So, and then I went back to working at Winston Tires to, again, work for somebody else to save money. And then I got my real estate license because every time I was having a Porsche, Ferrari coming to a tire shop, and I was upselling them, brakes, tires, whatever, alignment. I realized I would ask them, I would say, hey, what do you do for a living? And they would say, oh, either I'm an attorney, but 9 out of 10 times either they own a mortgage company or real estate, right? I'm like, wow, so real estate's good. So I got my license, and then one of the customers that used to come to Winston Tires hired me as a loan officer. So I worked at the loan company for less than a year, and then I learned everything, and then I opened my own mortgage company. In 1993, I was 22 years old. Opened a mortgage company. I made $290,000 first year. And that was my first taste of success. Real money, right? At 22, 23 years old, having that.
I needed $500,000 to start a hair care company. So my partner and I made a deal. You take 30%, I'll take 30%. We have control. That's 60% of the company. And we'll give the 40% to anyone that'll give us and invest, $500,000 with us, $500,000. And we had somebody set up, a fellow named Dick Holthouse from a corporation called Citicorp. He was over working in Europe. He was a friend of mine. He had an investor out of the island of Jersey, which is between England and France. A little, anyways, it's a business island there. So he got to invest the money. So my relationship at the time was not going well at all. So I left whatever money I had, because I had a pretty good job. I quit everything I was doing. Left with, right before I started this company, I was a consultant to companies. If you wanted to enter the beauty industry. Okay. That's what I was doing. But I quit everything. Everything I had, I just quit. Because $500,000 is coming, in, and this 1980. So anyways, I left the newer car. I took the older car and left the house and a bunch of money for my wife and my daughter. So it'd be fine for a few months, right? Went down the hill to get the money. Never arrived. A friend of mine ran me down Dick Holthouse got a hold of him, who got a hold of me and said, JP, call Dick, collect. Pick up the phone, call and collect. And I did. And he said, worse news, the guy changed his mind. And I said, why did he change his mind? This is the last minute. He goes, well, inflation in the United States, 12.5%, unemployment, 10.5%, interest rate, 17%, and your hostages are still in Iran and haven't been released. You're waiting in line for gas. We don't know about the future of oil and gas, and that has a lot to do with petrochemicals and plastics and everything else. He said, I'm sorry, just changed his mind. So we had zero. And I just had a few bucks in my pocket, a few $100, and that was it. My mom lived in LA, but I was too proud to say, Mom, I'm broke. Can I have my bed back? My room is still available. Feed me. I was too proud. So I just went over to her house and said, Mom, can I borrow about $300 from you? And she says, why? You make good money. I said, Mom, I'm starting a new business. I'll give it back to you in a month. Okay, here you go. Hey, you want to stay for lunch? Yeah, I do. Blah, 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 blah. Anyways, and I just stayed in my car. I was just too proud to tell my mom that everything went wrong. That's how we started. Then I learned how to live off of $2.50 a day. 99 cents went to the Freeway Cafe for what they called the trucker special. If you went there after 9 o'clock, where nobody went after 9 o'clock, it was right by the freeway. And before 11 o'clock, the lunch crowd, for 99 cents, it was called the Freeway Cafe. You got one egg, your choice of one piece of bacon or one sausage. I took the sausage, it was bigger, one piece of toast, and then your choice of orange juice or coffee. And that was my breakfast. And then I learned how to, and that was 99 cents, right? And then I learned to, and it's one of these places you walk up, they give it to you, walk outside and you eat it. And then I found a way to be able to eat off of a dinner for like $1, $1.25. And what I did was somebody called El Torito, big restaurant chain, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, started something called Happy Hour. Virtually no business from 4 to 5:30 in the afternoon. So they started this thing where 99-cent margarita wasn't Patron, but it was a big margarita for 99 cents, and because it wasn't invented Patron yet. Anyway, so 99 cents for the margarita, and it was okay. But what was great was they gave you all these little chicken wings or the salsa, and they would switch up. Well, you get about 2 or 3 bowls of salsa and 20 chicken wings, and you are just full as can be. And my kid, who a friend of mine was helping me watch, would come down with me, and eat at the same time. And it went really well. Then after 3 or 4 days, they kind of caught on. And the waitress came over and said, you guys are down and out, aren't you? We said, yeah. And I told her the story. Pretty soon an enchilada would arrive along with our margarita. But I remembered them. And when we started making some money several years later, I was able to afford it. I came back and I tipped everyone in that restaurant the biggest tips they've ever had in their life for helping me out when I needed a helping hand.